What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Vrats Report. It's time to talk about Team Canada's huge victory over the Americans. Now, this was finally my first time watching Team Canada due to work. I haven't been able to catch some of these early matches. I have a day off. So I finally got to watch Team Canada, and boy, what a match it was. It started off very exciting in the first quarter for Team Canada that came off firing. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, as we know, has been phenomenal this entire tournament, and he comes out and sees a lot of doubles teams. So what does his teammates do? They step up and they hit a lot of threes. Dylan Brooks, what can you say about this guy? He has received so much hatred from every basketball fan across the NBA this past NBA season, and he's had a phenomenal tournament where he's hit some big threes. And this was also a game where someone needed to step up, considering the SGA was seeing so many double teams, and he was that player. He comes out, hits a lot of threes in the first quarter, and Lou Dort hit some as well in the first quarter. RJ hit some. The Canadians get off to an early lead in the first quarter. Then the Americans make some adjustments. They had Walker Kessler in the game. They substitute him for Bobby Portis, who I thought was a very high energy player that comes off the bench for them. Just turned the game around completely. And also, I felt like as soon as SGA, Lou Dort, and RJ Barrett went to the bench, you definitely saw the Canadians play drop off a little bit. The defense wasn't there. The offense dropped off as well. And the Americans made a bit of a comeback. The Canadians started off the game so well. And then at the start of second quarter, we saw something similar. You know, Americans press up a lot. The three main guys for the Canadians were on the bench. Dylan Brooks, he was on the court, and we'll get to him just a moment and talk about his stats. But in terms of the second quarter, Americans come firing. Yuri Fernandez calls a timeout, gets his guys back into the game, and that was it, because the Canadians almost seemed like they never let go after that. It became a much closer game towards the second half, which we'll get to in just a moment. But let's talk about Dylan Brooks real quick here. Now, we know Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was seeing a lot of double teams, and he was forced to pass off to these guys, and someone had to make the big shots, and that was Dylan Brooks in today's game. I mean, what can you say about him? He had a massive game where he had, an insane 39 points for Dylan Brooks, 39 points on 12 of 18 from shooting. He also shot 7 of 8 from the three-point line. It's absolutely insane to think he just had a game. He had a game, and he's also doing it on the defensive side as well. He was constantly guarding not Karl Anthony Towns. He was constantly guarding Anthony Edwards on the defensive side. He was super aggressive. He also made some really intelligent double teams as well. I don't know if you guys picked up on that towards the end of the game and in overtime, where Anthony Edwards constantly kept switching on to Dwight Powell, who is also a very good switchable player as well. But Dylan Brooks would constantly be coming over to Anthony Edwards to double team and to get the ball out of his hands. Now, what I thought some of the other guys did, Lou Dort definitely had his struggling moments where he tried to force his offensive game a little bit too much. He also got into foul trouble as well. But the one mistake that the Americans really made, especially in the fourth quarter and in overtime, was going really small. There's a time where they had Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, and Austin Reeves, and Anthony Edwards, and Mikal Bridges. Like, the size of those 5 players combined isn't a lot. Only one of those players, I believe, besides one of those players in Mikal Bridges is over 6'5". So that obviously was advantage to Team Canada where they were attacking the basket. They also got a lot of defensive and offensive rebounds because they stayed with Dwight Powell that entire scenario, and it paid off because they got a lot of offensive rebounds. And then finally, late into the overtime, the Americans decide to put Bobby Portis back in, and by that time, it was too late. But I want to quickly highlight the fourth quarter there, because that was a terrible play. I wouldn't want to say a terrible play. That was a very unfortunate circumstances for Team Canada, as they were up 4 points. Mikal Bridges gets fouled, goes to the free throw line. He hits his first free throw. Obviously, now he has to intentionally miss his second free throw as there are only 4 seconds left on the shot clock. He misses. They get a rebound, offensive rebound, and I believe Mikal Bridges finds his way to the edge of the three-point line in the corner, hits a crazy three-point shot, and now all of a sudden it's tied. Now the Canadians have about 0.6 seconds left on the shot clock. Kelly Olynyk gets the ball, a fading three-pointer, a deep three-pointer, and nearly makes it. But after this, you would have to question Team Canada. Like most teams, when they go through something like that, where they have a 4-point lead with 4 seconds left to go, you would think they would get rattled. Not Team Canada. They come in back very resilient and pretty much embody what it means to be Canadian, to be really tough and just, tough out the tough moments. And then they came out in overtime and they produced a lot of points. And before you know it, it was a 10-point lead for the Canadians, and they never looked back. Now, there was one moment at the end of overtime where the Americans were trying to make a comeback. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was attacking the basket. He turned around, he's getting double team. He looked at RJ Barrett, who was wide open at the 3-point line, gives him the shot. RJ Barrett hits a massive 3-pointer, and that is the game right over there. And we can't say enough good things about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as well, guys. Like he hit some very clutch shots in those late fourth quarter scenarios as well. Despite getting double teamed, he created some space. He also crossed over Mikal Bridges so badly where he fell down. And we're going to see those highlights on Twitter and Sportsnet and TSN everywhere tomorrow. But that was really fun to watch. It was one of the most exciting matches to watch. And honestly, really proud as a Canadian to see how far Team Canada has come in basketball. So honestly, so many good moments in this game. Dillon Brooks was absolutely unbelievable, hitting so many clutch shots when we really needed it. There was times where Shai just would see double team after double team, and everyone else was, at moments, even RJ was struggling to hit his shots. He was causing a lot of bad turnovers, and there's Dillon Brooks, who came in and very gutsily hits major shots. And what made me really proud, not only of Dillon Brooks, but to see him wrap the Canadian flag around his entire body, around his neck. He just embodied what it means to be Canadian, to be that tough player. And just he showed so much resilience today. I cannot say enough good things about Dillon Brooks. And obviously, SGA is going to do, his thing. He was amazing today. He made some incredible passes, and he ended the game with a pretty good box score as well. I mean, Shai finished the game with 11 of 20 from the field, 31 points, despite getting double teamed so often. He was 8 of 8 from the free throw line as well. Now, to quickly go into the statistics of each team here. So Canada from the 3-point line, again, Dillon Brooks was a huge part of it, but Canada shot an incredible nearly 46%, 45.9% from the 3-point line. Their field goal percentage was 51%, which is unbelievable. I mean, they scored 121 points, guys, against the Americans that are supposed to be really, really good at basketball. And that's not to disrespect Americans. I know you guys are going to say, well, they're playing their B or C squad. It doesn't matter. Look, I just think ultimately this American team didn't have enough size. And the major mistakes they went with here was going without a major big. Like, you can't go with 3 players under 6'5" and expect to win. The Canadians just use their size, use everything to their advantage. And Dillon Brooks saw that opportunity where he was attacking Jalen Brunson at the basket, knowing there's no big man there as well. So again, and I can't say enough good things about Team Canada. I mean, the Americans shot the ball really well. I mean, they shot 51% from the field as well, 37% from the 3-point line. But ultimately, it came down to making some clutch shots and making some smart plays. It just seemed like the Americans didn't exactly know who's going to shoot the ball. They were swinging the ball, which is something you obviously want to see, but they almost seemed like they're swinging the ball to swing the ball. There's a point in the game where Anthony Edwards was wide open, and for whatever reason, he decided to pass the 3-point shot wide open to Bobby Portis, and Bobby Portis missed that 3-point shot. So those are decisions like that players have to understand, that it's better to take it than to try and be a little bit unselfish. But again, great win overall by Team Canada, guys. I was getting super emotional watching it. I mean, this is the first time they've ever, placed 3rd place at Fiba. They won the bronze medal. Very proud moment, but I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. So make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section. And for those wondering, the shout out will be in the next video, guys. This is just a one-off video. I don't do these too often. There's no trivia question as well. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.